So, losses are hard, but how much are you learning in this process each and every game, especially going up against a guy like AD tonight and having to make all those adjustments?
You're learning a ton. Obviously, you also got to learn to get over the hump and win those kind of games. But, I mean, as many reps as I can get is always a blessing. And, yeah, definitely learning a ton.
Max, I'm curious. I mean, Sacramento doesn't get on national television a whole lot. What do you feel like, despite the record that you guys have this season, maybe what you guys were able to show tonight, even though it ended up in a loss?
I mean, I think we showed some really good things at times. Obviously, want to be consistent for 48 minutes and be able to pull the win at the end. But, yeah, obviously it's hard to win the league, and you have to pull up in a full game, not just 30 minutes, just 35. So takes a whole team effort to do it, and hopefully we're getting closer and closer to it every day.
Building off that a bit, Max, statistically, offensively, this team seems to really struggle in the fourth quarter. Are you noticing anything that's different? What you guys are doing, defenses are doing? What's leading to the low-scoring fourth quarters?
I didn't know that, so I don't really know what to do with this, but I just feel like fourth quarter is kind of like winning time, so naturally, like, defensive gets a little tighter, and whoever had a hot hand earlier in the game, the other team usually going to try to shut him down. So that's what I would say, but I don't know much about that. So,
Max, so many different starting lineups this year. I think 19 now. Just what's that been like? Just sort of adjusting like night after night to what is often kind of a different group out there.
I mean, I feel like we just got to adjust to whatever we have. Obviously, Keegan going down a couple times, and Domas, and maybe Zach as well. So we have to embrace that. Injuries are part of the game, and we have to stay ready for, having our opportunity and our name called. I didn't know it was that many lineups, but I feel like other teams are also facing the same problem. So we just got to adjust and be able to be competitive even with that.
Max, Dallas had 15 offensive rebounds. I think Gafford had 7 of them. What was he doing down there, to collect them on the offensive end?
I think he's really smart with how he positioned himself down there. I think it's also somehow part of their offense when they're running two bigs, and with the gravity AD has when he's on the floor, probably helps Gafford have a mismatch and probably get better rebounds. And yeah, he's just really aggressive with it. He's an athlete, so definitely feel like rebounds is like 80% grit, really, no more technique. But yeah, I mean he's an athlete down there.
Are turnovers something that you guys are emphasizing, forcing turnovers specifically, and how much do you feel like that contributes to when you guys are playing well?
I mean, I think a ton. I'm not sure exactly when that was, but we went on a couple runs, and I think it was end of the first quarter, beginning of the second quarter. I don't remember when, but we had like 6 stops in a row, something like that. It was like four turnovers from them. Obviously, when running in the open floor, it's like open dunks, open layups, kind of energy plays as well. So on top of just the scoring itself, I do feel like it gets the crowd going in the team as well. I do believe, finding joy in playing is also something that affects winning. So those plays definitely help, yeah.
Max, we mostly dug and, kind of the narrative around the team this year has mostly been around the defense and that wanting to be your guys' identity. How much have you guys maybe been focused on the offense at all recently? Is that a discussion you guys have internally at all, or is this pretty much not something that comes up a lot? I
mean, everything kind of comes up given where we're at right now, but I do believe we have some extremely talented offensive players. I mean, Russ is the highest scoring point guard of all time. Zach has been, 50, 40, 90 player all his life. Debo is probably one of the best closer in the NBA. So in that sense, we just probably have to find more collective solution and not only rely on them carrying us every single game. We got to give them some help. But yeah, as you said, with a new coach and new GM and everything, we're also trying to establish a culture. So we have to focus on those base. And obviously, it's not the result that we want, but I feel like holding a team to 100 points is still like pretty good in today's NBA. So hopefully build on that. And definitely 98 is not great on our part, but we'll get there.
DeMar, you've made a career out of thriving in offense in the fourth quarter. This team statistically is amongst the bottom in fourth quarter scoring. From your perspective, with all the years you've had in the league, what is causing the fourth quarter offensive struggles for this group?
It's just got to be better at execution. I understanding what we could take advantage of, spacing, timing on spacing, understanding, how teams playing us, if they doubling, who they doubling, where they doubling from. I think just being more organized with us, more so than anything. That's the only issue. We don't give ourselves consistently chances to get, good shots off, good looks off. So I think that's all it is.
Debo, you guys had several looks in the end, closing seconds there. Were you happy with some of those looks that you guys got to be able to?
Yeah, the last one, wish we could have got, to my point, just being more organized, understanding what we could get instead of, trying to rely on a, one leg 30-footer to go in. Just got to give ourselves a better chance to get a shot off, make something happen.
Feels like a lot of times when we ask you guys where sort of your offensive struggles come from when they do throughout games, it's iso ball and going towards that. But I'm curious from your perspective how much in the fourth quarter that becomes necessary.
It's what it is. You look around our league, winning time, kind of go through your best players. I think that's just the game of basketball in our league. You run your set. If that initial set don't work, you kind of got to rely on going through your best players, playmaking or being able to get to a spot and make a shot. That's what it's all about. We gave ourselves a chance. The last couple of possessions, they hit a big shot. We reacted off, trying to clog the paint. So AD wouldn't get it. They kicked it out. Young fella hit a big shot for him.
DeMar, I know this season's tough, but some of the young guys are taking some huge strides. Just how impressed are you with what you're seeing from Max and what you're seeing from Dylan?
Yeah. It's great. The best experience you could have is, being in the moment and actually seeing it in real time. Those guys playing, Max going out there competing with a Hall of Fame, big. That's the best way to learn. A rookie going up against AD, battling, you can learn a lot from that. So all those guys that get an opportunity to go out there and play, it's definitely going to pay off for them.
Doug, 35 points in the first quarter, and then 20 in the third and fourth, 23 in that second. What did you see as what was working for you guys offensively in the first that slowed down there?
Yeah, holding them to 100 points defensively, solid enough to win the game, and, I have to figure out a way to help them offensively. Ball has to move. We came out in the third quarter and it wasn't it. We have to make sure that we're finding the ability to move the ball and move bodies. That means the ball has to go from one side of the floor to the other side. Guys have to cut with pace, put pressure on the defense, and just the second half was, part of it is our offense also affects our defense, and that just can't happen. We have to find that rhythm for sure. Yeah.
Doug, building off of that a little bit, this team is second to last in the NBA in overall fourth quarter scoring. Seems like that should be a strength of this team with the amount of veterans on this roster. Whether it's balancing mouths to feed or just trying to get the ball to the right person, what are you seeing from everybody, how they're moving the basketball or not moving the basketball?
Yeah, there was. I'm going to go back and look, but I definitely think that there was some shot selection that we could have done better. But most times the ball got into the guy's hands in areas that we wanted. We didn't make shots, and sometimes that is the key too. It looks great, and I'm a super smart guy all of a sudden that when guys make shots, and it's not that, it's they knock them down. In a game like this, you miss 6 free throws. It's just these are things that can't happen, but there has to be the ability to close games. Debo, one of the best closers in the league, but we have to have the patience to have good shot selection in those moments to make sure. And we talked about it and we worked on it, and you put shooters around them in certain spots, high quad in the corner, big in the dunker, and if they want to help, you pass the ball to the right guy, and they shoot and make shots hopefully. And tonight, on top of other things, that did not happen late.
On the final play, you had two guys running to the same spot. I'm curious Was that what the play was designed to do? And
No.
did you think at all about getting another shooter on the floor too?
No, we had, well, first of all, we didn't have a timeout. But we worked today on a play, and the guys chose to run wide. They're out there. I told them, almost ran on the court telling them everyone knew the play, and they ran wide, which was, not my choice in that moment. But I do know from being on the floor, if you have a feel in those moments. But the particular play was one that Debo would have been going to the corner, would have missed direction, Zach coming back up through an elevator, and then Keon getting a screen on the backside from Dylan. So you'd have had 3 looks at an open look, hopefully. And oddly enough, we went through it today and shoot around, but the opportunity presented itself, and so the execution wasn't what we wanted.
Doug, the young bigs seem to make the adjustments necessary against AD tonight just to keep you guys in the game after he started off really hot. Just how impressed are you with their ability? I mean, one fouled out, the other one had 5, but still to hang in there and play major minutes for you.
Yeah, these are moments like you can see Dylan. Dylan brings I don't know the word, but it's something. There's something that he brings to the gym that is special, and watching him compete, watching Max compete, yes, super proud of the way that they went about it, because he's AD and he's going to score buckets, and they fought and they were physical. That was part of the game plan. We got to make sure that we're physical, and both of them were. Don't leave here with your fouls. They did not, and probably even should have gave Precious a little bit more in that regard. Like a lot of this, I'll take this and blame on myself. Those guys played good enough defense to win the game. I have to figure a way to get them over the top, and I'll go back and kill myself, I'm sure, in a lot of different ways watching it. But such is the seat.
Doug, to your point earlier, the moving the ball, it feels like that's something you guys point to a lot of what you're not doing when the offense is struggling. But I'm curious how much in the closing moments of games where iso ball does it become necessary, to what extent, and how do you go about executing that?
So for us, there's a couple different ways. We can run elbow, we can run ram, we can run flat, which you're picking on somebody, you're trying to find a matchup, and in the first half, closing it, Debo did that, and he was able to get the ball at the elbow and put shooters around him, and we got some really good looks. Late, we didn't get to it as much as I would have liked to. Me calling it and them in a flow is 2 different things, but they know. I mean, there's a closing package. That's the whole point of a closing package, is to get the ball where you want it in the closer's hands, and then you allow him to make the right decision, whether that is shooting the basketball or they overhelp like we did with the kid who knocked down the 3-pointer and they kick it out and he knocks down a shot. That's the whole point. They just flipped it. They had AD in that position. We have Debo in that position. On the wing is Zach, and on the wing for that was, I think the kid's name was Williams. And he knocked down a shot.